Here we are joining our survivors for the next hunt, and we are going to be going after a level 2 white lion. So as you can see, he's a little bit further back on the hunt track. The odds are good that I am going to be going through the Overwhelming Darkness story event this time around. So we'll see if I am prepared for that. Hopefully I am. And we'll see if I can tackle the slightly tougher white lion. So he's going to have more wounds, higher toughness, does some extra attacks, some extra damage. But the rewards should be worth it, hopefully. And for the survivors, the gear loadouts are pretty much the same as usual. So I got Amy rocking her full usual loadout. So that's the rawhide gear, blue lantern, scrap sword, twilight sword, monster grease. We have a couple new survivors with us because we are dealing with plague as well. So we have Jupiter right there, and he's going to be rocking the catgut bow, bone blade, founding stone, monster grease. We have Minerva, who will be using, I guess she'll have the sort of silence and full rawhide and monster grease. And we have Venus right there, and she's going to be using the King Spear, Founding Stone, Dormant Twilight Cloak, Bone Darts, and Monster Grease. So hopefully we can survive this hunt. So without any more ado, let's get going. Starting with Minerva, Minerva there, we will do Mark. Oh, geez. Okay, this is really good. I don't have the understanding for it. So this is Mark's territory. The white lion has marked this area. If any survivor has 3+ understanding, which I don't. I so desperately need ammonia right now. I could have gotten the ammonia innovation, but it is not happening. So instead, I am rolling a random hunt event. So the white D10 will be the 10s, and we're going to get 77. And it looks like we got ourselves a sinkhole. A gaping sinkhole suddenly opens under the survivors, revealing a swirling black pool of ichor beneath them. Each survivor rolls 1d10. The lowest scoring survivor, or survivors in case of ties, becomes a straggler. Each one rolled a d10. If I have a whip, which I do not, we are adding 4+ to the roll. Yeah, there's a chart there. So starting with Amy, she's got a 3. Minerva, 1. Venus is 10, and Jupiter is a 7. So it looks like Minerva is going to be the straggler here. And what am I going to get for this? 7. So on a result of 7, dragged to safety, terrified but unharmed. Okay, that's really good because I could have actually lost a whole bunch of gear there. And with Minerva rocking the sort of silence and all that sort of stuff, I would not have wanted to lose that. But that is the first event out of the way. So we will move forward, and I'm going to have Jupiter activate the next one. And we're going to get Sea of Golden Grass. So we've seen this one come up a couple times. It can possibly result in an ambush, but it can get me some courage as well. So I am going to opt to investigate. So everyone's going to get 1 courage, and we are going to find out what result on the table I'm looking at. 5. Okay, that's not an ambush. Instead, the survivors circle the tall grass, lost, roll on the hunt event table before moving on the hunt board. Alright, that's not so bad at all. Once again, the whites being the 10s, and we're going to get 99. Ooh. Higher numbers usually are neat things than this one, so let's find out. So we get the portcullis. The survivors approach a massive portcullis standing in the darkness. It is not attached to anything and does not bar the way. I think I saw this in Harry Potter once. They may choose to walk around it. If they do, roll again on the hunt event before moving on the hunt board. If the settlement has a portcullis key, which I do not, they may erase it from the settlement record sheet and use it. Each survivor gains +1 courage. The portcullis creaks open and the survivors step through. Okay, I don't have the portcullis key, so we gotta roll again on the hunt table, it looks like. So, we're gonna get 53. We got ourselves a mask salesman. The survivors meet a traveling mask salesman on the road. He insists that he has a special wares to offer. Shuffle 1 copy of each mask gear from the mask maker's settlement location and draw 1 at random. The salesman is offering the mask. The event revealer rolls 1d10 to determine the price, then gains the mask. Huh, interesting. Okay, well, let's see what we got. So we've shuffled up our masks, and we are going to get the antelope mask. So, unique irreplaceable accessory, 2 head armor, and with 2 red and 2 blue affinity. At the start of my act, if insane, get +1 movement activation. Huh, okay, that's kind of cool. Moving on to the next, we will use Venus here, and we will reveal the Dead Warrior. So what do we got here? The survivors stop a man's length away from a one-handed skeleton clad in ancient rusted armor. A strange tablet covered in inscription lies next to it. If the settlement has pictographs, nope. A survivor with 3+ understanding may investigate. So I may not investigate. That's unfortunate because it looks like there was actually a fighting style I could get from that. Instead, we roll on the chart. We roll on the chart. And we are going to get 79. Got to determine what the price for the mask is here for the masked salesman. So let's see what Jupiter will be paying. On a roll of a 6, so we're just going to go over to the book here. And let's see, on a 6, salesman slowly gestures for an offering. Archive 1 gear of your choice from the gear grid. Oh, okay. You know what? I think I will archive the Bone Blade. So a result of a 79 is the Dying Small Prospector. If your settlement already has a portcullis key, nope. He's gone. Roll again on the hunt table. Okay, well, I don't have the key. The survivors discover a body slumped against a large stone face. Moving closer, they find a small dying prospector riddled with arrows. As they approach, he growls a warning, threatening them with a huge stone shard. When he sees that they are not evil monsters, he says, "This is the key to the portcullis. Without it, you will never get through." I record the portcullis key. That would have been nice a couple of events ago. And if the settlement has graves, nope. The event revealer builds a small monument of broken stone noses and gains +1 understanding. So I now have a portcullis key. They are moving up, and it's Amy's turn to reveal a new hunt. And we just got a random hunt event. So we will get 64. 64 is the stone fountain. So 2-cup stone hands rise out of the ground. The hands hold clear, cold water that trickles through the stone fingers in seemingly endless supplies. Any survivor may consume from the fountain. If they do, gain +1 courage and roll a d10. If no one consumes, roll again on the hunt table. Huh, yeah, okay, I think I'll do this here because, extra courage, and we'll see what happens. Amy will roll first for an 8, so it's water. Refreshing. Excellent. Moving on to Venus. 6, water again. Jupiter, 9. Ooh, 9+. The water is clean and pure. None the survivor has ever tasted. Gain 1 survival. Okay, that's good for him. And lastly, Minerva will get a 9, so she'll also gain 1 survival. Not too shabby. And we are getting ever closer, so we are going to go back to Minerva, and she's going to activate this next event. And we got the Scratching Grounds. Claw marks scar the ground. The survivors may choose to investigate. Each survivor that investigates gains +1 courage and rolls on the table. I will definitely do that. Starting with Minerva, we are going to get a 4, which is nothing happens. Jupiter will get a 5, so nothing happens. Venus will get an 8, so nothing happens. And Amy will get a 4, so nothing happens. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to get some lion claws there. But you know what? Nothing's happening, and everyone just gained some more courage. So this is going to be a very courageous group of survivors. On top of that, we just hit a couple courage milestones here. So we're going to be rolling on the hunt phase. Expect the unexpected. You are prepared to face any mind-bending trials at a moment's notice. Where others may falter, you forge ahead, meeting the journey head-on. Gain the following ability and roll on the table below. So we are going to get prepared. When rolling to determine a straggler, add your hunt experience to the roll result. And for Minerva, she will get 6, so we'll be adding +1 understanding. For Jupiter, 3, so 1 speed for the speed token for the next showdown. And for Venus, we'll also get a 6, so understanding. And this will take us into Overwhelming Darkness. So we'll have Jupiter activate that one, and let's find out what happens. So each one of our survivors needs to determine the path they are walking on. Now, Amy could both do Insane, the Path of the Insane, or the Path of the Brave. I think everyone, though, is going to do Brave. So we're going to start with Jupiter, and he'll get a result of a 1. So find a half-dead survivor covered in translucent moths. Ignoring them, lose 1 courage, or spend all your survival to save them, gaining +1 population. I think Jupiter will gladly lose his survival and gain +1 population here. Just because he's going to be hanging back with the bow anyway, so he's not going to be using a lot of that. So I'm okay with that. So +1 population. So we'll move on to Venus. She'll get a 6, which is a massive whale swims overhead. Your guts quiver with its booming cries. You vomit in fear but keep a brave face. Gain -1 evasion token. After this event, all those survivors gain +1 survival from your bold display. Okay, so Jupiter's getting 1 survival back. Everyone else is gaining 1. And yeah, Venus will be a little bit easier to hit here. Minerva up next. On a roll of a 2, punch yourself in the face to chase away. So Minerva just whacked herself in the face there, and she's going to gain -1 accuracy token. And lastly, we have Amy, and she's going to get the whale results as well. So she's going to gain -1 evasion token, but everyone's going to gain +1 survival. So not too bad. And as we emerge from the darkness, we meet the level 2 lion. So let's get the board set up and see how this goes. Our showdown is all set up, so we have some tall grass, we have some acanthus plants, and we have a dead monster. Now that one's kind of cool because I can pull some resources from that might be interesting. And we have our level 2 white lion. Now, one of the things that makes this guy a little bit more devastating is he now has a trait in play called Cunning. Basically, at the end of the monster's turn, then there's a break, any adjacent survivors target one at random and full move the white lion directly away from all threats. The target suffers grab. So basically this white lion is going to be a lot more mobile. I'm probably going to have to chase him a lot more, and I'm going to have to rely a lot more on getting some ranged hits in. So thankfully I do have things like the King's Spear, I do have the Catgut Bow, but Amy and Minerva, who are both rocking swords here, are going to be a little bit worse off on this one. So we'll see how everything goes. So we'll start off with the White Lion's first turn, and his first AI card is going to be to Lick Wounds. So no wounds in the wound stack, so we discard Lick Wounds, and he's going to draw a new AI card. He's going to get Claw. So closest threat facing in range, so that's pretty much any of these 4 right here. He's going to charge up with his speed of 2 + 1, so speed 3, damage 2, accuracy 2+. He's going to target Amy here because she is basically the best equipped to deal with it. So he's going to get 3 attacks and -1 evasion here. So let's see, 2 natural, 1 rawhide, 1 monster grease, 2 for grass. So I'm adding 6 to her evasion, -1, so I'm adding 5 to her evasion on this one. So he's going to need 7s to hit. And he'll succeed once, and he's going to... Oh, I didn't mean to roll that. And he's going to hit her in the waist for 2 damage. Now this is where things are going to get fun, because I'm going to want to try and eliminate as much wounds off this guy as fast as I can. So I'm going to start with Minerva, and she's just going to go 1, 2, 3, work her way around to the back of the lion there, and she's going to swing with her Sword of Silence. Now her -1 accuracy token is going to negate the blind spot here, so she's hitting on 5s. She's going to get 1 hit, and it's going to peg him in the ribs. So if I happen to wound, I'm going to get 3+ if I have 3+ understanding, which she does not. So we're just going to attempt to wound here. We got a strength of 6 plus her natural of 1, so 7. So needing a 3 to wound this guy, because he's now toughness 10. 6. So that will wound his ribs. I don't get the wound reaction because I don't have the understanding to do it. But that is going to be what she does. And we're going to pass the turn over to, I guess, Venus. But before she does anything, we're going to surge with Minerva, and she's going to do the exact same thing, swinging into the white lion, needing 5, so 1 hit. Going to get the glorious it's not a wound, that's unfortunate. But we're looking for the crit, which we did not get. She does, though, happen to have the rawhide gear, so we're going to roll to see if she gets her survival back. Which she does. Excellent. Moving on to Venus, and she does have the King's Spear, so she's actually just going to back 1 up, and she is going to King's Spear the lion. So we're looking at hitting on a 6+. So we got 1 hit, which is going to get him in the beast brow. So her spear is strength 3, she adds 1 to herself, so looking at 6+ to wound. Hey, that's another wound. But on a wound reaction, snarling, the monster swats at his attacker. 1 brain damage and basic attack against the target. So the basic attack is going to be three attacks here. So this is going to hurt probably a little bit. And she does have Monster Grease. So unfortunately... Oh no, and she has natural 1 evasion. So Monster Grease and evasion, that means those... Nope, she has -1 evasion token. So those 3s are going to hit her. So she's going to get dinged with 3 attacks. And it's going to be waist, feet. Yeah, waist, feet, and hands at 3 damage apiece. Uh-oh, Minerva's not looking too happy here. She's going to spend some survival, and I think I'm going to dodge the waist damage there because she is getting knocked down and she is getting hit with quite a bit of damage. So she's going to take severe injury on the arms and the legs. So the arms, she's going to roll a 2. And Venus is just dead. So that is a survivor casualty, and I'm now down to 3 survivors to take on this level 2 White Lion. That will bring us on to what's his name, Jupiter, and he's just going to move into the back here, and he's going to swing in with his Founding Stone that he has. So speed 2, hitting on 6s because of the blind spot. So 1 hit with the Founding Stone, and we're going to get the Fuzzy Groin. He has no luck benefits here. So looking to wound him on, let's see, he has natural 2 strength, I think. No, 1 strength. 1 from that, so needing 8s to wound. And that's a 6, so no wound. And that will bring us to Amy, and she's just going to move 1, 2, 3, and she's going to swing in with the Twilight Sword. Just because I want to get that in there as fast as possible. So 1 hit here. She currently has 3 proficiency in it. And she's in the blind spot, so it's 9 minus 4, so needing a 5 to hit. That's going to hit on a 9. And we'll be getting the Straining Neck. Okay, so there is actually a chance I can kill him with this one, depending on how I do on the rolls. So let's see if anything but a 1 will wound him. 7. Okay, so it's not a crit, so no chance of instant death, but that is another AI card out of the way. She is then going to Surge, and she's going to use her Scrap Sword. And... that is going to be a speed 2. So Scrap Sword and in. And I think the 2's not going to hit, but the 4 will, because of the blind spot. We're going to get the Beast Tricep. And this is, let's see, 3 strength plus 3, so needing a 4 to wound. Nothing. And that is going to take us to the end of the survivor's turn. So 1 down, 3 to go, and still quite a few AI cards remaining. So the lion will then in turn do a maul. So victim of grab last round, no one was there. Closest knockdown survivor, no one was knocked down. So in other words, we're going to sniff. So in the sniff, the white lion sniffs the air and ends its turn until the end of the next round. All survivors are now threats, despite any effects that say otherwise. And what I'm going to quickly do, because now we're going to move into the cunning side of things, we are going to use some survival, which, by the way, did she get her survival back? Yes, she did. So everyone's going to spend some survival and just dash out of the way. So, unfortunately, Jupiter doesn't get to reroll, but this means I don't fall prey to cunning. But everyone is now a priority target. Back into the survivor's turn then. Amy's going to go forward, and she's going to swing with the Scrap Sword once again. And no hits. But she is going to Surge, and she's going to get it back. And no hits again, so that was kind of pointless. Going to move on to Minerva, and she's just going to move right there, and she's going to attempt to use the Sword of Silence, so she's going to need 5s to hit. 2 hits, excellent. And we are going to get, let's see here, the Beast's Femur and the Beast Flank. Both of them are actually pretty good, so I'm just going to roll the Femur first. So let's go for a crit. Nada. No wound at all either. And then on the flank, that will be a wound, but not a critical. So that is another AI card down. She is then going to Surge for an extra attack. She's going to succeed, needing 4s. So 1 hit. We're going to get the Soft Belly. So once again, anything but a 1. 2. Okay, so that will... Oh, wait, no. She's strength 6. 7. Oh, no, I needed a 3 to wound. Darn. Jupiter is then going to use the catgut bow here. And he's just going to go in needing 7s to hit. So actually going to hit with both, because that was a 9 and a 7. Keeps rolling off to the 1. And we're going to get the Scapular Deltoid and the Beast's Maw. Starting with the Maw, needing a 6. 6 on the dot. Okay, so it's not a critical, but it's not a failure. And that's actually unfortunate. That would have been a nice little bonus to get there. And then the Scapular Deltoid. Uh-oh. So full move the monster forward in a straight line, cancel all hits now on range, okay, and suffer grab. Okay, this actually is kind of good because that's going to put him out of range. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way over there. And we're going to move into the Lion's turn. Lion's going to draw his AI card, and he's going to get Power Swat. Closest threat facing in range, nothing there. Closest threat in field of view. So he's going to go after Amy, I guess. So he's going to turn around. And he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way back. And he's going to Power Swat. So this is going to be a speed 1 plus his thing, so speed 2. Accuracy 2 plus, so adding 3 to that. So needing 5s to hit. So 1 hit is going to go through, and it's going to whack her in the chest for 3 damage. And I think she's going to spend a dodge to try and get away from this. And she's going to keep that dodge, so she continues to be okay, which is very good in this case. So that's going to take us into the Survivor's turn. But before we do that, we're going to spend a little bit of survival, because we've got some adjacent heroes here. And Minerva's going to take a dash back and hold on to her survival. And Amy is going to do the same thing. Well, she's actually going to go, she's going to try and dash 1, 2, 3 down to there. And she'll hold on to it as well. So I'm getting quite lucky with the survival retention here, which is good. Because I'm going to need as much as I can. But, well, we'll see how many more wounds I can strip off. So I really need to see some wounds on here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Jupiter. And he's actually just going to hurl his Founding Stone, using its special ability to cause a critical wound against the lion. So it's going to automatically hit. And we're going to draw the Beast's Heel. So I clip the tensed muscles of the heel. On a critical wound, excellent, your precise attack ruins the monster's straining tendon. The white line is knocked down. Ooh, awesome. Persistent injury, ruptured tendon. When the white line starts its movement on a D10, on a roll 1, the white line is knocked down again. Oh, alright then. Would have been nice to get one of the insta-kill ones here, but I will take it. That's actually pretty darn cool. So he's down, and I'm about to just get in there and wreak some havoc. So, I don't know what to do next. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to activate Amy next. So Amy is going to get in there with her scrap sword and hope that I don't pull the trap. And she's hitting on 3 pluses now. And of course I still roll a 2. And we are going to get the Fleshy Gut. So if I fail to wound, it's going to be a basic action against the attacker. On a critical, I'm going to get vomited on. So let's see what happens. I got +3 natural strength here, plus the scrap sword of 3. So looking for 4s. 7. So that is a wound. No vomit, but it is a wound. So that's good. And I think she's going to surge again. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm getting really close to where the trap is probably going to be. And I think she's the one who's best equipped to survive it. So, we're going to get 2 more hits. We're going to get the Beast's back and the Beast's tail. So we have a failure and we have a reflex result. So I'm going to do the failure result first, I think. Looking for 4s to wound the Beast's back. Looking for 4s to wound the Beast's back. 5, okay. So once again, not a critical, but that is a wound as we go through it here. And next up is the Beast's tail. And hopefully in this case we're going to get a critical, because the critical wound will cancel the reflex. Okay, okay, critical hit. So the white lion's tail is destroyed, ruining its finely tuned balance. The white lion gains a -1 accuracy token, and I get a lion tail white lion resource. Excellent. That will bring us to, what's her name? Minerva, who's going to go into the rear here, and she's going to swing with her Sword of Silence. She's going to get 2 hits. Man, I really wish I was getting more benefit out of those perfect strikes. We're going to get the Beast's Knee and the Beast's Ear, and I'm getting really paranoid here. That's all that's left in the deck. The trap is in there somewhere. So we're going to start with the beast knee here, and she has 1 natural strength. Yeah, 1 natural strength, so she needs 3s to wound. Nothing. And on to the beast's ear. So once again, 3s. So I'm just failing to wound left, right, and center here. So she is going to surge and try and do it again, and she's going to keep it. So once again, on 3s, 2 hits. Oh boy. Beast temple and oh, okay, good. So the chest and the temple. So I guess going to start with the temple here. So once again, needing 3s, and actually persistent injury in this case would be really nice. So no critical, but that is going to be a wound. So we are moving through it here. And on the beast chest, so once again a 3. Okay, so that is going to wound, so no failure. That's excellent, because I didn't want him getting up and moving away. And I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to surge with, oh, no, because he needs both his movement and his other thing, because the bow is cumbersome. So he's not going to do anything. So that is going to take us to the lion's turn, who is going to draw a claw. Closest threat facing in range, so he's going to get back up. Closest threat facing in range is once again Amy. So he now has a -1 accuracy token. So he's hitting on a 3+. In the tall grass, so 5+. Monster grease, 6+. And then rawhide, 7+. -1 evasion token, so needing 6s to hit. So we're gonna get 2 hits. Okay, so it's gonna be the legs and the hands. So I think, and this is how much damage a piece? This is just 2 damage a piece. You know, I'm going to take it on both because none of them are going to result in serious injuries, and I don't want to keep trying to burn my survival. However, as before, we're going to burn some survival to get out of adjacency here, just so his cunning doesn't take effect. So we'll start with Minerva here, and she's just going to go back 1, and she is going to see if she gets it back. Nope, she finally loses 1. And Amy is just going to do the same thing and just move back to there. And she's going to keep it. If that can focus, there we go. And Minerva's going to spend one more survival to loot the carcass here. She's going to get a 5, which is going to result in a gain 1 random basic resource. Okay, that's not too bad. So we're just going to reach over and we're going to get a love juice. Everyone is out of range of the monster, so that will take us on to the survivor's turn. And I'm getting very close to the end of the deck here. I really wish I had a cat's eye circulate. But nothing can be done about that one. So we're going to start with Jupiter here and hope I trigger the trap. Using the catgut bow, needing 7+ to hit. Nope. Okay. So that's it for him. Moving on to Minerva. No. We're going to move on to Amy, and she's just going to go 1, 2... Yeah, right there. Right. 1, 2, 3. So she's going to be in the grass to get the evasion bonus here. And she's going to use the scrap sword. And she's hitting on both. Yeah, hitting on both. And we are going to see the beast's paw and the beast's elbow. And I got 2 cards remaining, and one of those is the trap. We'll start with the beast's paw. So, needing, what was it? Needing 4s to wound. 9, so it is going to wound. Sadly, no critical there. But we are going to get rid of an AI card. And then we are going to do the beast's elbow. So once again, 4. Uh-oh. So in this case, full move the monster forward in a straight line, cancel all hits now out of range, any survivors passed over suffer grab. So 1, 2, and then I guess 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and she is grabbed and down. So she's going to suffer 2 damage to her hands. Oh, and that's going to result in the black box being filled out. So that's not very good for us, but thankfully we have some survivors who can spend some survival to get her back up on her feet. So I think we're going to have Jupiter spend one of his survival to get Amy back up on her feet, like so. So she will hopefully be a threat. And we are going to move on to Minerva, who's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't actually get within range. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to make that a dash. She's going to keep her ability, and then she's going to do her full activation and just go 1, 2, 3, 4. And she is going to swing in with her Sword of Silence here. More than likely triggering the trap, needing 4s to hit, or 5s because the accuracy token. 2 hits, and hey, what a surprise! We got ourselves a clever ploy. So, the attacker has caught the White Lion's ruse. Savagely mauled, attacker is doomed. Basic action! He'll just turn around and perform a basic action. So this is going to be 3 attacks. She has evasion and monster grease. He has -1, so hitting on 5s. So 2 hits. And it's going to peg her in the legs twice. So that is going to result in a severe injury. She is going to get knocked down. And what's going to happen to her? On a roll of a 4, she's got a dismembered leg. So -2 permanent movement and can no longer dash. Well, nuts. Okay. So she's not that combat effective anymore. Can't dash out of the line or the danger zone for grabs and whatnot. So I gotta be very careful about how I go forward now. And I'm not going to encourage her up. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to activate. Yeah, we're gonna activate Jupiter here, and he's just gonna move down here, and he's gonna Fist and Tooth into the White Lion. And I'm doing this because I want Amy to be the target of the next attack here. So he's going to Fist and Tooth. This is going to be hitting on 8+. So we're going to get 1 hit right there. And the hit location is going to be the beast's back. So basically we're looking at a 9+ to wound here, which we did not get. Now the downside is he's going to move forward fully. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's going to be taking Minerva with him, who is then going to suffer 2 damage to her torso. So thankfully, you know, she's got the armor to absorb that, but still, that's not very good. That's going to bring us to the lion's turn, who will then draw a claw. So it's going to be the closest threat in field of view. So he's going to turn around and basically just walk back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And because we want Amy to be the one tanking this, he will swat at her. And what is it we determined he needed? It was, let's see, he hits on 3s. We had another 3 evasion to all that. So 6s. So 1 hit with a lantern there. And it's going to hit her in the chest. And I think she's going to spend the survival to dodge that, which she will lose. So she is down to 4 survival at this point. And then both of them are going to spend survival to dash out of the way. So he'll go back. He's down. Jupiter's down to 1 survival. And Amy is going to see if she gets it back, which she does. But it means that there's going to be no more grabbing going on here. That is the end of her their turn. So Minerva is also going to get back up. And we're going to move on to the survivor's turn. And we're going to start with Jupiter here. He's just going to shoot his catgut bow into the back, so needing 7 pluses to hit. So nothing at all. So then that means Amy's just going to go 1, 2, and go to there because she's still stuck at 3 movement. She's going to use her scrap sword. And she's going to hit twice though, so that's good. So we're going to get the beast's tail, and we're going to get the beast's knee. Once again, needing 6s, starting with the knee. Sorry, needing 4s because she has 6 strength. So that is going to wound. Sadly, not a critical, but you know what? With him being down to just a couple AI cards, everyone is good. And now the beast's tail. 4. So once again, no critical. Oh, nuts. But he is going to move forward in a straight line. Going to do some grabbing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And she'll be grabbed along with him. Suffering 2 damage to her head. Yeah, okay. She's fine at the moment. At this point, Minerva's going to spend survival to encourage Amy up. And she's going to lose that survival, but Amy does stand back up. And then Amy is going to spend some survival to surge and go in with the scrap sword again. And unfortunately, fail to hit completely. So that'll bring us to Minerva's turn. She's just going to go 1, 2, 3, because she's got to get back into the fight somehow. And that will bring us to the end of the end of the survivor's turn, and into the White Lion, who is going to draw Lick Wounds. So, full move the White Lion directly away from all survivors, turn to face the closest survivor and heal 1 while nuts. And then return Lick Wounds to the top of the monster's AI deck, so that's not good at all. He can't really move away that far, so he's backed into the corner. We know Lick Wounds is coming up. At the very least, Cunning is not going to take effect this time. So we got some reprieve there to maybe get back into the fight. So with the survivors, we got to get rid of that Lick Wounds, so we're going to have Amy just step up 1, and I got to make sure that that wound happens. No, I'm going to use the Scrap Sword again. So once again, hitting on 5s. So 1 hit, and we're going to get the Soft Belly. Hey, that's going to be a critical. So we got a persistent injury here. So first off, 1 random White Lion resource, which is going to be Sinew. And we have the White Lion's intestines hang from the wound on his gut, dragging on the floor. At the start of every monster turn, before it draws an AI card, roll 1d10. On a result of 1, the monster suffers a wound. And I just realized I've been missing the ruptured tendon all this time as well. The White Lion might have been falling down all this time, making things easier. But you know what? Such is life. And I got rid of that Lick Wounds. And you know what? Amy is going to surge. She's going to lose it, so she's down to 3. And she's going to attempt it again with the Scrap Sword. And she's going to hit twice. And we're going to get the Beast's Maw and the Scapular Deltoid. So both of these have failure results, so I'm going to do the Beast's Maw first, I guess. Mostly because there is a nice critical wound attempt down here. So needing a 4. 6. So that will wound. No critical, sadly, but it is what it is. And the Scapular Deltoid will also wound and critical. So the trauma of the impact fractures the White Lion's shoulder, -1 movement token. So the White Lion is now moving slower. He's not hitting us as often. So he is in rough shape. And we are down to a single AI card as we continue on with this turn. So what we'll do is we're going to have Jupiter use his last survival, and he's just going to dash forward. So 1, 2, and 3, just to get within range of the Catgut Bow. And then it'll be his turn to activate, and he's just going to shoot in with the Catgut Bow, needing 7s. And of course, miss completely. Minerva will just keep going forward. So 1, 2, 3, and that'll end that turn. That's going to bring us into the White Lion, and his only attack left is Claw, so he's just going to go after Amy like a fiend. So once again, needing 6s on 3 attacks, and he'll get 1 successful hit in the head, which at this point, Amy will definitely use a survival to dodge, which she will not do. And then she's going to use a survival to dash out of the way, just to avoid the grab, and it'll go back into the survivor's turn. So once again, we will start with Amy, and she'll just go 1, 2, 3, and she'll just dive in there with the Scrap Sword. And what is this over here? That is a 9, so a 9 will hit. We're going to get the Fleshy Gut, so needing a 4. 9, so that is a wound. I was really hoping for some more resources there, but it means we have gotten rid of the Claw, and she is going to surge once again, and she's going to not get it back, so she's down to 2. And I'm going to make sure... Oh, geez. Yeah, the Scrap Sword is still the better chance. So Scrap Sword's going to swing in. Going to hit twice. No trap, no trap, no trap. Got the Fuzzy Groin. And got the Straining Neck. So we're going to go for the Fuzzy Groin just because it does offer the chance to get a resource on a critical. Which we didn't get the critical, but we did kill the level 2 lion. So that was a harder fight than the level 1s for sure. Lost one of my survivors, but hopefully the rewards will be worth it. So let's take a look at what we got. With the White Lion slain, I do get to draw some resources at this point. So first off, I'm going to draw a resource for the Cannibalize, as my survivors just go after Venus's corpse. And we're going to get a Broken Lantern. We're kind of hoping for Hide there, but what you going to do? So I'm going to get 4 basic resources. So Hide, Questionable Thing, and Monster Organ. So monster organ is, I can consume it and I can contract a parasite. If I wanted to. I'm not quite sure why, but yeah, there we go. So that's what I got for the regular resources. And then for the white lion, I get 6 white lion resources. So Eye of Cat, that's awesome, because that gives me the Cat Eye Circlet. Lion Claw. Curious Hand, so a random survivor gains +1 insanity. So I'll have to figure that one out. White Fur. Cat Bone. And Cat Bone. Okay, I was hoping for a little bit more white fur to make some white lion armor. But I guess that is not quite to be just yet. But with a little bit of leather and hide, sorry, and some bones, I might be able to do something. So not a bad haul. So the 3 survivors return with all that they have to bear. So I'm going to get 3 endeavors plus an additional endeavor for cooking. So I still have 4 endeavors to play with. We're going to update the timeline, and we definitely got some things going on here. So let's see here. Yeah. So we will go through this step by step. Very first thing is we will deal with the plague. So as with the last lantern year, we got to figure out what's going on with the plague. So I've chosen, unfortunately, I'm running very low on survivors with Hunt XP. So we'll do Jupiter, Minerva, Mars, and Juno. So Jupiter on a 3 is just going to be dead at the end of this phase. Okay. Minerva's okay. Mars, unfortunately, will be dead at the end of this phase. And same with Juno. So unless I happen to get ammonia so I can treat them, I will be losing a bunch more survivors. Unfortunately, Jupiter is already on the way out. He is just... oh, actually, no, they were all... Some were fine, some were... Oh, geez. I'm gonna have to quickly look at the tape again, because I can all of a sudden not remember who lives and who dies. I think it was, Mars was okay, Minerva and Juno. I'll take a quick look at that. Now, the other nice thing, because I did not roll a 1 or a 2, Plague is not going to be added to the timeline again, which is excellent, so we're going to be able to get rid of that. But one other event we got going on is the Armored Strangers. You're visited by enigmatic figures, fully enclosed in armor. They march silently through the settlement. The only noise is a metallic clang as they pause before each survivor and tap their lantern halberds against the ground. The survivors have no choice but to helplessly await their mute deliberations. Add Kingsman to the Nemesis encounter list. The strangers count people and take action based on the population total. But before we do that, I just realized I do have to draw a story event before we get to that, because that is the order of operations. And we're going to get Stranger in the Dark. So in this case, we're going to roll a d10 and see what happens. So we're going to get a 6. So in this case, the stranger is dressed in black ragged cloak that obscures its form. A myriad of strange lanterns hang from the chains wrapped around its body. The stranger speaks in a dark, raspy tone. I am the lamplighter. Give me your light. Each player nominates a different survivor to bring him a lantern and rolls a d10. So only one player. So I will nominate, I guess, Todd. And let's see what happens here. So Todd is going to roll a d10, get a 6. The stranger makes an off-putting ticking noise, and the lantern light dims slightly. The survivor suffers -1 permanent strength. So it could be worse. He could have died. Could have also gained some strength and courage, but you know, no dead guy is a good thing. We now moved on to the armored strangers. Sorry, I do have 9 survivors, so we got to roll to see what happens here. 7. The bravest survivors are rounded up. Select the survivor with the highest courage. In case of a tie, select all and execute them. You may resist to avoid a loss. Well then, that would unfortunately be Amy with the highest courage, so I think I'm very much going to attempt to resist this. So by resisting, I rise up. Special Showdown. Kingsman level 1 to the timeline this year. Okay, so I'm not going to gain any additional endeavors or settlements events or advance the lantern year, but I am going to go right into an immediate showdown on this. So let's get the board up and running. Slight correction, I just double checked things and I don't go to the special showdown just yet. I still get to continue on with everything. So we're going to update some milestones here, see if there's anything worth looking at. So just a couple age milestones, nothing really worth looking at. So development, so we have 4 endeavors to develop with. So we're going to start with some innovations, hoping for ammonia, and then we're going to see what we have left to what we can either build as far as weapons or armor goes. Using some of our meager supplies here, we're going to use a great cat bone, monster hide, and a monster organ. We're going to innovate. Scarification. Scrap smelting. Ooh, that's not too bad. Hovel. That would allow me to get some saviors. And oh, sweet Jeebus. Okay, yep, gotta go with ammonia here because I need to be able to keep my people alive. I can't keep losing folk. So yeah, we're definitely gonna go with ammonia. So we now have the opportunity to try and remove some of the plague here. So we got 3 survivors that may or may not survive. So we're gonna spend an endeavor. 6. So yeah, so we'll choose one randomly. I don't know. I'm going to spend another endeavor to do it again. 4, and I can't afford to lose people. I hate to use my last endeavor here because it means no intimacy events this time around, but I gotta do it. Oh, jeez, where were you on the first roll? So thankfully, I am getting rid of the plague. Everyone is going to survive this round, which is very good for me. But it does mean that I'm left without any more endeavors, so all I have left to do is see if there's anything worth building. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 2 lucky charms using some organs. We're going to use the cat eye to do the cat eye circlet, white fur and lion tail to make a white lion coat, and a lion claw and curious hand to do a lion beast guitar. And then we're going to use the love juice to trigger 1 intimacy event, and that will be that for the settlement phase. We'll go with Todd and Minerva again because they've had a pretty good track run so far. Oh, crying out loud. I'm going to use Todd's once per lifetime reroll there. That's much better. So I'm going to add +1 population. And then there was the hunt event earlier that got me another +1 population. So all things considered, we did come out 1 ahead after this past hunt, but we'll see what happens after the Armored Stranger and Kingsman event. The Kingsman has come to the settlement of Magrathea, and my survivors have opted to try and defend themselves. So we are going into this special showdown here. So we're not doing the typical hunt, and you guys are getting a bit of a double feature. So we have the survivors. From left to right, we have Juno with the catgut bow, antelope mask, cat eye circlet, cloth, and lion guitars. We have Jupiter. And he is rocking a king spear, white lion coat, dormant twilight cloak, founding stone, bone darts, and cloth, and monster grease, which also Juno has. Next to Jupiter, we have Amy, our Twilight Knight. She's got her Twilight sword, her scrap sword, and full rawhide gear and monster grease. And then we have Mars, who's rocking full rawhide plus a lucky charm and the Sword of Silence for +1 luck. So that is the Defenders of the Settlement, and we will be taking on the Kingsmen. We got a couple terrain features here. We do have a Survivor Corpse as well as a Bug Patch, and then a couple stone columns. And because we are defending, the Survivors of Magrathea will get the first turn. To start us off, I'm going to activate Juno, and she's going to loot the Survivor Corpse here. We're going to find out what we get. So a roll of a 6, we're going to gain +3 insanity and 1 skull basic resource. She will then move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm just going to move her forward 4, I think. And then I'm going to have Amy interrupt actually and use a dash. And she will get that point of survival back. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to activate Amy, and she's just going to activate again and go 1, 2, 3 and swing into the Kingsman. And at this point, her specialization with the Twilight Sword is enough that she is ignoring both cumbersome and slow. So she's getting 3 attacks that are going to be hitting on 4+? No, 5+, because it's 9 minus 4. So it's going to be hitting on 5 pluses. So let's find out. So 2 hits. And the locations we're going to get are the Regal Gut Plate and the Regal Sheath. We'll start with the Regal Sheath because the reflex on the gut plate would actually take the Kingsman out of range. So he is a toughness of 12, and the Twilight Sword has a strength of 9, so a 3+ is what. Oh, and then her native strength. So we're basically looking at anything but a 1. So that was a 1. So he is going to respond with a basic attack, which in this case is going to be what is his basic action here? So full move towards the target, make a separate attack for each survivor in the highlighted zone. Okay, so just her. So it's going to be 3 speed, 3 accuracy, and damage, and plus an after damage. So he has a 3+ to hit, but there is 4 evasion kicking around here, so needs 7s to hit her. And we got a 6, a 6, and a 5. So no hits, which is good, because otherwise I would knock her back. But the Regal Sheath does nothing. Moving on to the gut plate. Once again, anything but a 1. 2. Okay, so not enough to knock him down, but a 1 is a wound. So we will get rid of that there. And there is a reflex, and the Kingsman is going to turn to face the attacker without churning. Move the monster away directly 2 spaces. So 1, 2. And unfortunately no king steps, so not going to be able to follow up here. And it's just going to make it harder for the rest of the survivors to get into range. Going to get Mars into a better position here, and he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Jupiter will do something similar. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and then he's just gonna hurl some bone darts at the Kingsman there. So this is gonna be hitting on a 7+. Nope. And that will end the survivor's turn, and we're gonna go into the Kingsman, turn 1. Right off the bat, at the start of each monster turn, the basic action is performed by the Kingsman. So basically, it's going to be survivor in the blind spot. There are none, so it's going to be the closest threat. So he's just going to move forward and make a swing against Amy there. So once again, needing 7s and 3 hits. And those 3 hits are going to be doing, let's see, we got the hands, we got the waist, and we got the hands again. I'm going to dodge one of those hands, going to get the survival back, and she's going to take light damage on the waist and the hands. And for the first AI card, we are going to get Cleave, so it's going to be the closest threat in field of view and in range, so that is going to be Amy again. And you know what, I'm going to quickly interrupt with a Surge by Amy. And let's see here, yeah, she's going to keep the survival. So before it moves on to onto there, she's going to surge in, and she's going to be hitting on 5s. So 2 hits once again. And in this case, what's going to happen, because it was the start of the monster's turn, it's basically just going to be a couple of the battle pressure cards coming off the top here. So in this case, the hit is canceled. If the survivor is adjacent to the monster, they may king step. So we got to do this twice here. So your body trembles and your mind wavers. You struggle just to stay standing against the pressure projected by the monster. Discard all unresolved hit locations and... Oh, okay, so I only do this once. And attempt to overcome. So I'm going to roll a d10 and find out what happens here. 6. Just as you start to follow the monster's subtle movements, the tip of the Kingsman's foot hooks your ankle. You are knocked down, gain 1 tempo token. So she's down 1 tempo token. Now the downside about this is that she suddenly has become a lot easier to be hit by the attacks. So the 3 attacks coming in, and we are looking at... ooh, okay, so that's 1 hit for sure. I gotta double check to see if I lose all my evasion bonuses when knocked down, though. So I couldn't see anything that suggests that I lose my evasion bonus, so that 3 is not going to hit, so it's just going to be 1 hit coming in. Going to go for the waist, and she's just going to dodge that, and she's going to lose that survival. So she is down to 5 survival, but she didn't take any more damage, which is good, and that does take us on to the end of the monster's turn, so it's the survivor's turn now. We're going to start with Mars, and he's going to encourage Amy onto her feet, and he will lose that survival, but she's standing up again, and he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's going to swing in with his Sword of Silence. Looking at 5+ to hit. 2 hits, excellent. So that's going to be the battle pressure right there. So unfortunately, we're not even going to bother with the other hit location here, because it just gets discarded. For the record, it was a Regal Plume. And he's going to roll on the King Step. Get a lantern. Okay, so what's going on here? So on a 10 plus, you grasp the pattern behind the monster's fine movements, a rhythm that lets you control the pace of the fight. You have overcome the battle pressure and learned something valuable. Gain the King Step fighting art. By the way, I don't know if it was on a shot there, but there's the lantern right there. So the King Step secret fighting art. Whenever you attack, you may discard any number of battle pressure hit locations drawn and draw an equal number of new hit locations. Whenever you attack after drawing hit locations, but before rolling to wound, you may choose one hit location drawn and discard it to draw a new one. Traps, of course, cancel these. Okay, so that's going to make it a little bit easier to get past his battle pressure, which is good. So he now has the King Step, and we are going to move on to, I think, we're going to move on to Amy, and she's just going to go 1, 2, 3, and she is going to swing into the Kingsman. Needing 5s to hit, and only 1, unfortunately. But we're going to get the halberd spear here. So thankfully she doesn't have any heavy gear, which is really good. So nothing to worry about there. On a critical wound, though, I can lower his speed, so that's good. So let's see. We're looking for a 1 plus, or anything better than a 1. 4. All right. So that is another wound on the Kingsman. We'll move on to Jupiter, but as we do that, we're going to surge with Amy, and she's going to attempt to go again. And she'll get her, oh, she already surged, so she can't... No, that was during the monster's turn. Okay, so yeah, so she can do that. So she gets her survival back. She's going to do 3 attacks, needing 5s again. So once again, only 1 hit. We're going to get the Regal Van Braces, so once again, there is a reflex here. No King Step, unfortunately. So anything but a 1... 5. Alright, so that's going to be another wound, but he is going to react by turning to face the attacker and basically jumping back. Let's see here, 1, 2 spaces, and yeah, that's where he's gonna be hiding out for now. And I believe we were activating Jupiter, who has the King Spear, so he's just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he's just going to stay there because he can't get into the blind spot of the Kingsman anyway. So he's just going to go in with the King Spear, needing 6 pluses to hit. So 1 perfect hit, 1 lantern. And this is, let's see, 3 plus whatever his strength is, which is plus 1. So he's looking at 8s to wound. No wound. And that brings us to Juno, and she's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get into that blind spot. So this is important because it means she's using the Qatar. She's going to be hitting on 6s, but it also means that there's going to be a -4 to the toughness of the Kingsman because of the blind spot rule for him. So she is going to be hitting really hard because she has plus 2 strength. So 5 for the Qatars, her strength, -4, so 8. So she's going to be wounding on 3s. But gotta hit first. Needing 6s to hit. 2 hits, one of which is a perfect hit, but that does not do anything for me. So 2 hits, and we're going to get the Regal Collar, which has Death Blow. Unfortunately, it's not his last wound, so we don't care about this. But the Qatar is... Is it a dagger? No, it's a Qatar. So no additional strength bonus here, on both of them, actually. But if I wound, going to get +1 survival, and she's the last one turn, so -2 toughness till the end of the next turn. Alright, so let's just start with the Regal Sabatons here. So needing a 3+ to wound. Yep, that's a wound. So we get rid of that. -2 on this one, so anything but a 1 on the Regal Collar. So that's another one. So we are doing a fair clip on the Kingsman here, which is good. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to surge with Juno, and she's going to make another set of attacks in. So once again, needing 6s. So again, 2 hits. Sadly, the perfect hit's not doing anything for me. And we're going to get the Regal Gauntlet and the Halberd Handle. So we are going to start with the Regal Gauntlet here. And again, anything but a 1. Of course. And moving on to the Halberd Handle, there is a reflex here. We are going to get... Oh, shite. So a 1. So in this case, the reflex is I got to spend 2 survival to gain 1 courage and boldly deflect the halberd, or all survivors within 2 spaces are going to get knocked down. So she has the survival to it. It's going to drop her down to 1, but she's going to gain a courage out of this, and at least everyone's not going to get knocked down. At the start of the Kingsman's turn, he's going to start with a basic action, and in this case, he's going to target the survivor in the blind spot. So he's going to turn around, and he's going to look at Juno here and do 3 attacks in. All she's got going for her is Monster Grease, so looking at 4 pluses to hit. Oh, that's gonna hurt. So 3 damage apiece. Hands, legs, and torso. She's gonna spend her last dodge or survival to dodge that that torso there. But the hands and the legs, unfortunately, it is gonna cause 2 rolls on the chart. So she is down, and we're gonna find out what happens to her. Starting with the hands, gonna roll a 7. Broken arm and ear-shattering crunch. Suffer -1 permanent accuracy and -1 permanent strength. The injury is permanent, of course, and can be recorded twice. Gain 1 bleeding token. So that does kind of suck. She's going to be a little bit harder to hit with things and not quite as tough. And then the legs will be a 6. Torn Achilles tendon. Your leg cannot bear your weight until the end of the showdown. Whenever you suffer light, heavy, or severe injury, you are also knocked down. Skip the next hunt phase and 1 bleeding token. All things considered, could have been a lot worse. Could have very easily lost somebody there. Now, that is not the end of the Kingsman's turn, because he's got his AI card, and we are going to get the King's Axe. So it's going to be the closest threat in field of view and in range. So good old Jupiter there. So he's just going to take a look at him. And he's going to full move towards the target and make a separate attack against each survivor in the highlighted zone. Oh, nuts. Okay, so Juno's about to get whacked again. And in this case, it's going to be 3 speed, 3 accuracy. So starting off against Jupiter, he's got Monster Grease, and that's about it. So look at 4s. So 2 hits, and that's going to peg him in the hands and the torso. He's going to dodge the torso. So he's going to take some damage to the hands, I guess. Actually, you know what? No, he's going to dodge the hands, take the damage to the torso, because that's just going to be a light injury right there. But he is going to suffer bash and knockback 5. So in this case, because of where he is, he's going to get knocked back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he is on the ground. And now Juno is going to take a hit. So looking for 4s. So she's taken 2 more hits. Okay, so the head is just going to be severe, or not severe, heavy. So she's just going to get knocked down. But she is... Yeah, she's already knocked down. So, okay, don't have to roll anything there. However, the chest is going to be a severe roll of an 8. And is a broken rib. Suffer -1 permanent speed and 1 bleeding token. So she is now at 3 bleeding tokens, -1 speed. She's down to 1 strength. She was at 2, and -1 accuracy. So Juno is hurting. I don't know how much of a hunting career she's going to have left at this point, but she is still alive. Good news though, it is on to the survivor's turn, and we're going to start with Mars because he does have the King's Step secret fighting art. So he's going to go in with the Sword of Silence. Needing 5 pluses to hit. So it's going to be 1 hit, and I believe the way this works... Yeah, so basically he's just going to eat through the battle pressure, because of the way it works. Every time I draw one, it basically move on to the next one. And we are going to get the Regal Knees. So again, no heavy armor, thankfully. And there is a chance at a critical wound. So on an 8+, it wounds. Otherwise, let's see here... +1 strength, so 7 strength, so 5s. 5s to wound, and 9 plus to critical. 9+, so that is a critical. So there is going to be some persistent injuries here. So I'm just going to move it right down there. And we do get rid of another AI card, thankfully. And we will then activate, we're going to activate Amy. Or no, we're going to surge with Amy at the end of all that, and she's going to dash in. Oh, wait, no point in that. So we'll activate Amy, and she'll just go 1, 2, and she'll swing in with her Twilight Sword. So 3 of them hitting on 5s. So we got 2 hits on the 8 and the 6. And we are going to see the faceplate and the axe blade. And we're getting very close to the bottom of this deck. That trap is coming up soon. So once again, no heavy gear here. So I think what I'm going to do... I'm going to go with the axe blade first here. And it's anything but a 1, but hoping for a crit here to reduce his speed. No crit. Not unless she's lucky, but I don't know. She has no luck. So that does get rid of the axe blade and another wound. But it does also bring us on to the regal faceplate. And if I successfully wound, it is unfortunately going to cause some -2 accuracy tokens here. And honestly, I don't see much advantage to the critical. So for once, I'm actually kind of hoping to roll a 1, but we'll see what happens. Hey, a 1! Okay. No minus accuracy for me. So that's good. So that will move on to one of the other survivors' turn, but I think she's going to encourage Jupiter to get up. And she will keep that survival. And then as we go into Jupiter's turn, she is actually going to surge and do this all over again. Just peg into the Kingsman and get 2 successful hits. Oh god, the trap is coming up. So we got a regal back, and there it is. So we got an acid blood discharge. Gouts of acid spew from the cracks in the monster's armor. Attacker is doomed. No survival for her. All survivors within 2 spaces of the monster suffer damage to a random hit location equal to the number of wounds on the wound stack. Oh, good grief. Any survivor with a shield may elect to protect themselves and ignore this trap. Return any discarded battle pressure cards to the top of the hit location deck. Oh, that's gonna hurt. So there is the wound stack, and that's gonna be 7 damage. We're gonna start with Amy, just because she's doomed and can't do anything about this. And she's going to take it right to the chest. So, 2 is going to eat through the armor. She's going to get 4 to be knocked down with a heavy, and then a severe on the chest will result in a 6. And he has just disemboweled Amy. So in this case, the movement is reduced to 1 until the showdown ends. 1 bleeding token. She skips the next hunt. And if you suffer disembowel during a showdown, at least 1 other survivor must live. Otherwise, she is just going to be left behind. So not very good for Amy, but it is what it is, unfortunately. And then, well, we got to move on, and it's going to be 1 random hit to Mars, and he's just going to be smart, and he's going to spend a survival. He's going to keep that survival, and nothing's going to happen. But then poor Juno is going to take a bunch of damage to the hands, or the arms rather, and what's going to happen? 5. Ruptured muscle. A painful rip. The arm hangs limp. You can no longer activate fighting arts. This injury is permanent and can be recorded once. Gain 1 bleeding token. So she is up to 3 bleeding tokens. She can't use fighting arts. She's lost a lot of stats, so Juno is not having a good showdown. And with that chicanery done, and her surge done, I'm actually going to then surge with Mars over here, and he's going to swing with the Sword of Silence, take advantage of some things, hopefully. Get rid of those battle, get rid of the battle focuses. So on a 5+, oh, and does he keep the surge? He does. So that's going to eat through the battle focus, which will just be back on, Kingsman's turn anyway. And we are going to hit the halberd handle. So, well, let's see what happens. So let's see, 6, 7, so needing 5s. 8, so it is going to wound. So get rid of an AI card. And he will spend the 2 survival. Let's see if he gets it back. And he'll get both of it back. He'll gain 1 courage, and thankfully none of the survivors are going to take any hits. That is also going to trigger the bold age milestone. The essential difference between man and monster and a gap no human can overcome. You accept this and tap into a deep well of deranged fortitude. Gain the following ability, Stalwart. So ignore being knocked down by brain trauma, alright, and intimidation. And then we roll a d10. Gonna get an 8, and he's gonna gain +1 permanent strength, so he's now up to strength 2. Moving back to Jupiter, and he is gonna spend his action to actually, let's see here, encourage. Well, he's going to spend some survival to encourage, rather, I guess. Because he still has some left. I hope, anyway. Just looking at his sheet here. Oh yeah, he does. So he's going to encourage. He's going to encourage Juno to get up, and she's going to activate. Oh well, and then he'll get his move. So he'll let's see here. He'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's just going to swing in with his spear here. So needing 6+ to hit. Nothing. And he's going to end his turn. And that's going to bring us over to Juno, who unfortunately has no survival. So she's just going to go 1, 2, 3. And she is going to go in with the Katars. Katars needing 6+ to hit. And we got 2. So 2 hits here, and we're going to get the Regal back. And we're going to get the Regal Sabatons. We will start with the Regal Sabatons here, just because, you know, I can possibly make the toughness a little bit worse. She's also getting 1 survival, so that's awesome. If I wound, rather. So let's see. She has a natural strength of 1 at this point. -1 accuracy, so... Oh, they both still hit anyway. Okay, excellent. Oh, and I probably should have rolled 1 less attack. Oh, well, we'll just move on from there. So it is, let's see, -4 for the blind spot, and then 4 for the natural strength. So we're looking at 4s to wound. Hey, critical! So she's going to not only gain the survival, but she's going to crit. He's going to be down 2 toughness until the end of his next turn, which is excellent. And that survival is fantastic. And that's going to take us to the Regal back. So once again, we are looking at a... well, now at this point, we're looking at a 2 to wound. And that is going to wound. So no critical, unfortunately, but we are almost at the end of the wound stack, which is excellent. And she is going to immediately spend that survival, and she is going to swing in again and hope for the best here. So needing 8s to hit. No, sorry, 7s to hit. So 1 hit on the Regal Collar, which is the death blow, but sadly we still have 2 AI cards here. And it's going to be needing 2s. 2s to wound. And that's a critical hit, but once again, sadly, you know, no critical location there. But it is going to get rid of a card, which is fantastic, as we go into the Kingsman's next turn. His very first move, and I can't believe I just did it again, but he is going to go after the blind spot. So poor Juno is about to take 3 shots here. And yeah, she's got 1 evasion. She's got the monster grease, so needing 5s to hit. So that's going to be 2 hits to the waist and the head. Oh, things are not looking good for Juno at this point. So the waist is going to result in a heavy injury, but the head got to roll well on this one. Uh-oh, I think she's dead. I think she's dead too. Oh, no, not the head explosion. So Juno's head just exploded like a ripe melon in a shower of gore, killing you instantly. All other survivors are so disturbed they lose 1 survival. So thus ends the story of Juno, sadly, and everyone else has lost 1 survival as a result. So Mars, I think, is down to 1, and Jupiter is at 2 at this point. And Amy is down to 4. So I got to try and finish this guy off fast. But he's still got an AI card, which is going to be the King's Axe. And unfortunately, with the way he's positioned, he's going to basically just turn around, and he's going to strike at every... You know, he's going to choose his target, and his target's going to be Mars. And Mars is actually going to interrupt here, because if I can get 2 wounds in on him, I can actually kill him. So... Gonna hope for the best. Looking for 5 pluses to hit. So with no successful hits... Oh, and does he keep his survival? No, he loses his survival. So with no successful hits, basically everyone is going to take a lot of damage here. And he is... let's see. Let's start against Mars here, who has monster grease and other stuff. And so let's see. It's... +3 here, so needing 6s to hit. So he got lucky with only 1 going through, but I believe I used his last survival. Yeah, I did. So he's going to take the hit to the torso, which is going to result just in light damage, thankfully. But he is going to suffer bash and knockback. So 1, 2, 3, and I think that's just going to knock him down there. And that's going to bring us on to him going after Amy, who is going to be 7+ to hit. Oh, that sucks. Oh, I'm going to dodge that. And we're going to take some severe damage to the waist and hope for the best. First result on the waist, we got a 6. Destroyed genitals. You cannot be nominated for intimacy story events. Injury is permanent and can be recorded once. Random disorder, knocked down, but +3 insanity. Alright, so something good came out of that one, so I'll get the disorder in just a second. And the next result is going to be a 9, which is a bruised tailbone. The base of your spine is in agony. You cannot dash until showdown ends. You are knocked down with 1 bleeding token. So she's at 3 bleeding tokens. I can sympathize with the tailbone thing. That hurts. I've done that before. But thankfully, Amy is still alive, and that's kind of the more important thing for me right now. So let's find out what her disorder is. We're going to top deck Shallow Lungs. So when you encourage, you are knocked down. So, okay, that could be significantly worse, so that's not so bad. But we have 1 more attack to resolve, and that is against Jupiter here. And I think he has 2 survival left, so we can dodge something if he needs to. And what is he being hit on? I am so unfamiliar with Jupiter. So he's got 1 evasion and he's got monster grease. So looking at 5 pluses. So 2 are going to hit. And he's going to get hit in the arms and the arm. So he'll avoid 1 of those. But unfortunately, he is going to take the rest of that damage. And that is going to knock him down. So unfortunately, both Mars and Jupiter are knocked down until the end of the next monster turn. But thankfully, Amy does get up, and we will see what happens here. She's going to start. And you know what? I'm going to encourage Mars because I think he has a. Yeah, I'm going to encourage Mars. So she's going to keep the thing. She does get knocked down. He's going to get up. And he will act. I will activate him now, and he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he will encourage. Oh, he has no survival left, so he's just going to swing in and try and take out the Kingsman here. So needing 5s. So hopefully getting the 5s. 7 and 3. So it might be enough to get rid of the King's Axe. We get rid of all the battle pressures, thankfully. And we are going to draw the Regal Gauntlet. Oh, this is excellent. If I wound, I get a survival, which is good, because then I can pick him up. And let's see here. 6 plus 2, I believe. 6 plus 2. So 8. So needing 4s to wound. Wound! Excellent. So he's going to gain survival. -2 toughness until the end of things. Gotten rid of the King's Axe here. Next wound will kill him. So he's going to use his survival. He's going to get Jupiter to stand up here. And Jupiter kind of has to end it for us. Hopefully. So what's he got? I don't want to use the Founding Stone on this. So we're going to use the King's Spear. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's going to swing in twice with the King's Spear. Needing 5s to hit. That's 1 hit. Not a trap, not a trap. Oh, the impervious location. Okay, so can't wound or critical wound. Will not remove an AI or defeat the monster. Alright, but we can still critical wound and try and get something here. So I'm kind of glad I didn't use the stone. So he's got 1 natural strength plus the blind spot, 4. So that's 5, so 8. So needs 4s to wound. Nothing, not even a crit. And that will take us to the Kingsman's turn. And the Kingsman is going to resort to some basic actions here. So he's going to go after the survivor in the blind spot, which is going to be Jupiter. 3 attacks, and these are going to be hitting on 5s. So 2 hits. And it's going to peg him in the hands and the chest. I'm going to spend his last survival to dodge that. So he's going to take the damage in the hands, which would result in a roll on the chart of a lantern. Hit the dirt. The blow sends you sprawling and you are knocked down. So in this case, he's just knocked down. So he got off kind of lucky there. But that does mean we are moving on to the next basic action. So he's going to take a look at Mars. And here we go again. He is going to do 3 swings, hitting on, in this case, 5s, I guess? No, 6s. And we're going to see 2 hits. And we're going to see them to the waist and the chest. Thankfully, he's actually taken no damage yet. So he's actually not knocked down, which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that's actually great. Oh, I just realized I forgot to do some stuff, though. There's some bash and some knockdown. So he is going to be knocked down. There's some bash here and knockback. So Jupiter actually got knocked back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now he is getting knocked down and bashed into the stone. So yeah, things are looking kind of rough. But Amy does get up at this point. And we will see what she does. I think I know exactly what I have to do because I got the battle pressure that I got to deal with now. So, okay, let's figure this out. Okay, because of the battle pressure, got to use encourage. So she is going to encourage Mars up. She'll keep the survival. She's going to get knocked down. Mars is going to get back up. He's then going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the blind spot to make it easier to hit. Looking for a 4+ to hit. 2 hits. Okay. Not a trap. Not a trap. Okay, neither of which are a trap. We're going to go with this one because there's no reflex to it. -4, so 10. So anything but a 1. Bam! Okay, that's even a critical. But that is enough to take the Kingsman down. So that is the end of this fight, and it was, I have to admit, this was a tougher fight. I think of all the ones I've done so far, this was kind of the hardest. I mean, the fact that I've lost Juno, Amy's hurting, you know, Mars and Jupiter are hurting. I keep bleeding off survivors here, so it's good that the 3 survived. I would have liked to have all 4, but thankfully the Kingsman is defeated, and we can look at the rewards. At the end of the showdown, the air grows still and palpable feeling of dread comes over the survivor that dealt the final wound to the Kingsman. Go to King's Curse. Tragedy befalls the survivor that kills the king. Oh, okay. Their body starts to sweat profusely and their flesh bubbles with extreme heat. The survivor must roll a hit location on the King's Curse table. Survivor cannot gain more than 1 piece of regal gear per lantern year. Every piece of the regal gear armor is cursed, so that cannot be removed. So let's see what happens here. The chest. So, with a horrific crunch, your ribcage bursts from your chest and warps drastically, puncturing your internal organs. Your open stomach pours acid over your exposed innards. You double over, vomiting foamy chunks everywhere. Finally, you stand drawing no breath, but somehow alive. Gain the regal placard. Rare gear and place it in your grid now. The other returning survivors suffer 3 brain event damage. Your body seems to move on its own. Gain the King Stepped fighting art. So it looks like Mars is going to slowly be turning into a Kingsman at this point. It's going to mean some great armor, but it does mean I will eventually lose him, I believe. Yeah, when a survivor completes the regal armor set, has all 5 pieces, they lose their humanity and become a Kingsman. Filled with a sense of urgent purpose, the survivor marches off into the darkness. That's unfortunate, but such is life. And we now find out what the rest of the rewards are, so I'm going to roll a d10, and we're going to add the monster level, so 11. So 1 steel sword, rare gear, and 1 basic resource. So the basic resource is going to be questionable, and a steel sword, so let's take a look at that. The steel sword, speed 1, hits on a 4+, 5 damage, irreplaceable, slow, and sharp. On a perfect hit, the edge sharpens, gain 1+1 d10 strength for the rest of the attack. So not too shabby. I'm not sure how much I care for it, but not too bad. But there we go. The survivors have fought off the Kingsmen with only the loss of 1 of their own, and 1 more eventually to happen. But Magrathea does live on, and they will continue to strive to survive the darkness. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. As always, I want to hear from you below. Leave some comments. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Let me know what I got wrong. And of course, be sure to like and subscribe to keep catching more content as it comes out. And if you're interested, you can always catch me on other social media like Facebook or Instagram. Just look for Aegisbrand Studios. And as always, happy wargaming.